let's see. Testing the microphone. How are we doing? Okay. Ooh, here we go. Let's go ahead and like that. Jesus. All right, testing the mic. We good? All right, can I see comments? That is a question, because I had some issues with the comments before. But we're back for Ennis versus Stanionis. Exciting fight. Welterweight showdown between two undefeated fighters. Title unification fight. Can I see comments? Or can I not? I'm using Prism. So if somebody could comment, and so I can see whether or not this is actually working, that would be just splendid. Am I able to see this goddamn thing? Well, we just saw Shakram Giasov absolutely annihilate his opponent. Oh, okay, she's about to check. Shakram Giasov absolutely annihilated his opponent, and you know, you gotta feel good for him because the guy just lost his daughter, which is just absolutely heartbreaking. Little daughter. I haven't seen anything about a cause for it, so I mean, just heartbreaking. I don't know how you fight at that point. YouTube is not currently receiving data for the stream. What is that about? YouTube stream is excellent. YouTube is not currently receiving data for the stream. Please. You're sending a stream that is configured with the correct stream key. Is that right? I think it's right. Yeah, stream health is excellent. Okay. Good. Up on your screen. Oh, there we go. Hey, Lily, I see your comment. God bless. Thank you. Thank you for commenting. Hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully I can still see these comments as the evening progresses. But glad that we got that one up there. So I was just starting to ramble about how Shakram Giasov absolutely annihilated his opponent just now with a punch that I have not really seen used before, which was a straight right hand to the liver. A lot of times I'll see a straight right to the solar plexus, to the abdomen, you know, right to the stomach. And the left hook to the liver. That's classic primo Mexican style. Maybe the best punch that there is in boxing, the left hook to the liver. Doesn't matter if you have an iron chin. Everyone's got a glass stomach when it comes to that. But I do not see a straight right to the liver. And that is something, for one thing, I am going to try in sparring. Because, I mean, if you can land it, that's pretty good. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good fight. So, very cool to see that. And Shakram Giasov just lost his daughter, a young daughter. And I haven't found anything about a cause of death. But my goodness, I don't know. I mean, what a brutal. I mean, just speechless. Nothing to say with that. But you know, he got the win, and so let's see. He's undefeated, 17-0. Really interesting about Shakram is that the main event tonight is Boots Ennis versus Eimantas Stanionis. That's coming up after this next fight. But Stanionis, a similarity about Boots and Stanionis is that both of them had very strong amateur pedigrees. I think Ennis won like 58 of his 61 amateur fights, something like that. Don't quote me. But very good amateur pedigree. Golden Gloves champion. Lost to Gary Antoine Russell for the Olympics. But anyway, Stanionis, also strong amateur pedigree, but he was an Olympian for Lithuania, but he lost in the Olympics to none other than Shakram Giasov, the guy who just won his fight with that straight right to the liver, who just tragically lost his daughter. But I mean, it's amazing that just how things work out, where you got Stanionis heading this card, Shakram Giasov, the guy he lost to at the Olympics, fighting on the main card here. There's a few interesting little crossovers, a few interesting little tidbits about the two main headlining fighters tonight, which I'll get into as we go. They just showed a little footage of Teofimo getting into it at the at the weigh-in there. Not the weigh-in, the little press conference there. I'm excited to see Teo again. That May 3rd card is going to be... That is a fun card. Not a ton of fights on it, but good bang for the buck. We got Ryan and Raleigh. We got Teofimo fighting on that card against, I think, Barboza. And then you got Devin Haney against Ramirez. I don't know. I'm excited for that card, and I'm excited for this goddamn card. Main event, we've got two undefeated welterweight champions going at it to unify the titles in this era now, this post-Terrence Crawford era of the welterweight division, right? This is now where we see the landscape. Who is going to lay claim to this 147-pound division, right? Because we had Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, and they were really kind of the two titans of this division who were going at it for dominance, and we saw that play out. And we saw Bud Crawford, of course, whoop some unholy ass. That being said, now Bud has left the division. He's moved on to bigger and better things, so to speak. And now, up for grabs. 4 different belts, 4 different champions, and 2 of them are fighting tonight. And so we're going to see who is going to lay claim and say, this is my division now in the post-Bud Crawford era. A lot of people say it's going to be Boots Ennis, and I understand why. And I think that I'm edging towards Boots in this fight. I know he's had a couple shaky performances lately. And we'll see if he's long for the 147-pound division. He's kind of big for this weight class. But he's got the hand speed, he's got the power, he's got the skill, he's got some flash. And he's got some dog in him. So, appreciate it. So, that is, really exciting with Boots. Now, when it comes to Stanionis, it's a real contrast in styles here. You've got Boots, who is super athletic, southpaw, a lot of power, a lot of speed, explosiveness, a lot of flashiness, almost too much flashiness. Almost a little too much flashiness, but you love to see it. And then you got Stanionis, who, high guard, I'm going to come forward, I'm just going to be a aggressive Lithuanian tank, a durable tank who is just going to pressure you, throw punches, cut off the ring, and I'm going to hit you. Maybe I'll get hit too, but I'm going to cut off the ring and I'm gonna test that chin of yours. So 2 very different styles, and you got the explosiveness, the athleticism, the flash, the speed, southpaw, Ennis versus the tanky, high guard, come forward, beat you up, really very little flash of Stanionis. Who's gonna win? Both of them are undefeated. 33-0 is Boots Ennis with 29 knockouts, and you got Stanionis 15-0 with 9 knockouts. Another little interesting intersection point between the two of these guys is that for years, Stanionis has been trying to fight Virgil Ortiz. For years, he's been trying to fight Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz, of course, has been an absolute killer. He's undefeated, and he's got I don't know his exact record, but he's like 24-0 with 23 knockouts, something like that. Just an absolute killer. Stanionis has been trying to fight him for years. And these fights have fallen apart over and over again. Boots, on the other hand, was slated to fight Virgil Ortiz. And it seemed like Boots kind of stepped back from that. Do I think Boots is scared of Ortiz? No, I don't. But it's just, it's an interesting little thing here. There's other parallels when it comes to Boots and Stanionis, including when it comes to their backgrounds and how they grew up, which are really interesting, which I'll touch on a little bit. Right now we got the ring walks coming for Raymond Ford and this guy Thomas Matisse. We'll see what comes here. Raymond Ford is a heavy favorite in this fight. He's like minus 1,400. They're showing the fan zone poll of who will win. Oh, wait, sorry. Wait, forget it. Different fight. This is Jones and Jackson. I don't even fucking know who the hell. Okay, wait a second. What fight is this? What fight is this? It's okay. I think they just got the article I was looking at, got it out of order. The Raymond Ford fight is supposed to be the fight before Boots and Stanionis. So this is Omari Jones and something Jackson. Let's see what happens. So I think it's this fight, then you got the Raymond Ford fight, and then you got Boots and Stanionis. So we'll see how this goes. David Diamante has got some real flash tonight. Holy shit. He's got this electric blue suit. He's got like a chain on with the Dwayne Johnson black turtleneck. You got got some shades. David Diamante with the Riz tonight. The flash and the sizzle and the steak. Oh, man. Well, folks, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hopping on. I just came off of work. If you give a shit, it's been busy. It's been very goddamn busy. In case you don't know, I work in a broadcast. I'm a news producer. I work in news. So it's been a whirlwind goddamn week. Every week's been whirlwind. So it's nice. I mean, even though like it does take some energy to do these live streams and be talking and whatnot but I love the fact that I get to watch some boxing, have you folks here join me, and have some fun, experience these bouts together. So we're getting this fight going. They're doing the introductions now for the two fighters. I'm trying to speak on it, mainframe. All right. Omari Jones and something Jackson. We'll stick with something as his first name. Sorry, Jackson family. 1-0. Omari Jones, 1 win, 0 losses, 0 draws, 1 knockout. What? Yeah, he must have had a great amateur career, because you cannot be on the main card of this event with one professional fight. One professional fight, and you're on the main card of this event. I get it. It looks like he's the B side. So, but still, I would think that Omari Jones had himself an amateur career to be doing this here. All right, let's see what we got. All right, anybody have any predictions for the main event? If you have a prediction for Jones and Jackson, by all means, drop them in the comments. I can't imagine people are, maybe you do, I don't know. But if you have predictions for Boots versus Stanionis, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think, who you think wins, how you think it goes. I did a poll for this fight on my channel the other day, and we got hundreds of votes in, so I'll reveal the results of that poll as we get a little closer to the fight. And I'll talk about, I think, some more of my thoughts as we get closer here. Jones and Jackson feeling each other out here. God, they're wearing like the same fucking trunks. You got red and white for both of them. I mean, somebody has to. Both of them are red and white trunks. One is just like more of a bright scarlet red, and the other is like one shade off, and both of them have white as their secondary color. That's sorry, it's just plainly stupid. Thankfully, this is just a 6-round fight. No disrespect to Jones and Omari Jones and something Jackson. No offense to them, but only a 6-round fight. Good. This card is really about the main event, guys. Let's be real, okay? It's about the main event, this card. Sometimes you get a card where you get, holy shit, we got a knockdown. I think it was from a right hand. This might be a 1-round fight, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a round. He's not going to get up. He's not getting up. Holy shit, we got a 1st-round knockout. With what I believe was a right hand. I was grabbing my water. I couldn't quite tell. I think it was a right hand, though. We'll see in the replay. But we got a knockout win here. Oh, baby. From the fighter who's 1-0, by the way. From the fighter with 1 professional fight, 1 win by knockout. Now he's 2-0 with 2 knockouts. Was he the favorite? He was introduced second, though. I gotta see. I gotta see. This was Omari Jones, and the other guy was something Jackson. I seriously don't know his name. Whoops. Who? What? Omari Jackson got this. Omari Jackson. Oh, he feinted Jones. He feinted Jackson out of position. And it was a right hand, but it was a right to the body. It was a little right hook to the body. And you saw, it was a great little feint that got Jackson out of position to fire. And then Jones countered and landed a nice right to the body. And so then Jackson went down in like a fetal position, kissing the canvas there. Oof, God, those body shots are absolutely they're devastating, man. One more time, let's see. Oh, yeah, feinted him, out of position. Boom, that right hand is what did it. Oh, my God. Yeah, a little right hook to the body. It's killer, man. I'm telling you. When I don't spar that much, but when I do spar, yeah, focus on the body is where it's at. The body is where it's at, man. The headshots, all right, cool. But, like, the headshots to me are really just great for setting up the body shots. That's what, come on. And plus, you can throw a little extra hard to the body. The head, you're trying to keep it controlled. You want to keep it controlled. But to the body, you can, you give it to him. They're showing a little preview for Eubank Jr. versus Ben, where this is the fight where at the press conference, you had, what was it? You had Eubank Jr. slap Ben with an egg. He literally, they're face-to-face at the press conference, doing the little face-off, and Eubank Jr. takes an egg out of his pocket and smacks Ben in the face with the egg. Holy salmonella. Wild shit. So they're going to be fighting. That's going to be on the 26th of April. So in, 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. I'll probably stream for that too. I'll see what time that's at, though, because that's an English fighter, so see what time that's at. But all right, that was a nice, quick fight. 1st round knockout. We're moving right along. We can get this, we can actually maybe get to bed at a reasonable hour from this evening. We'll see. So we got, I hope, one more fight after this. I think we got the Raymond Ford fight. Raymond Ford is a minus 1,400 favorite. However, his last few fights have gone to decision. And so that one, it might go the distance. I don't know. We'll see. He is the heavy favorite, so maybe he'll get a stoppage as well. But then, God willing, after that we have our Boots versus Stanionis matchup for welterweight. Can't say supremacy because you got Ford titles and 4 different champions. This is for unification of 2 of the titles. But there's not really a pithy way to efficient way to put this. I guess it's a welterweight foothold is what it is. You get a foothold on the division. You know, you staking your claim. That's what these guys, Boots and Stanionis, are trying to do here tonight, is stake their claim in the division. Say, I'm the man. I'm the one who you guys have got to beat. So may argue again. He's trying. Lily, with the price of eggs, yeah, I'll take an egg. Been making egg sandwiches every morning, feeling like a king. Techno Lawyer, yeah, no, thank you for dropping by, Techno Lawyer. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's that's the thing about body shots is that, man, it doesn't always have to look like a hard shot. If it hits in the right spot, you just feel it all throughout the body, and it can be brutal. But he did look like he was able to get a little bit of whip behind that right hook. So anyway, I started blasting. Blasting what? Did I miss? That was a reference to something I said before, maybe? I don't know. Staying busy. Okay, he's got Eddie Hearn standing there. Let's move along here. By the way, another interesting, I guess, contrast between Boots and Stanionis is how is growing up. The fact that Stanionis, in the streets of Lithuania, his dad left him when he was 2 years old. He was raised by his mother, and apparently, according to his bio, he was fighting in the streets, getting into street fights. And he said, winning, which actually, it reminds me of Gennady Golovkin's story growing up in some ways. The fact that he was growing up in the streets of Kazakhstan, and he had his older brothers who were bringing him around and having him, asking if he's afraid of different people in the street, and getting his little brother into street fights, and Golovkin winning a lot of these fights, and then brought him into a gym. So anyway, Stanionis, father left him when he was 2. His mother raised him, getting into street fights in Lithuania, winning these fights. Finally, the mother brought him to a boxing gym, actually an MMA gym, but then he wound up training in boxing, and built up a really great solid amateur pedigree. European championships, and he became an Olympian. Lost to Shakram Giasov, who won earlier tonight with a wonderful straight right to the liver. Rare punch I don't often see. But so you got that from Stanionis. That was kind of his upbringing. In terms of his father and his family. Boots, on the other hand, his trainer is his dad. His trainer is his father. So, totally different kind of, totally different dynamic. Totally different family dynamic. Boots, though, grew up in Philadelphia. Of course, classic boxing city. That's, where we had, the great Bernard Hopkins, of course, from Philadelphia. Of course, Joe Frazier, legend, Philadelphia. Of course, mentioned Joe Frazier. That makes me think about George Foreman, who we lost recently. Absolute, George Foreman. What a legend, man. I mean, that guy, big doesn't do him justice. That guy was a giant of the sport. I mean, the fact that he fought both Muhammad Ali and Evander Holyfield is just fucking mind-boggling. That's nuts to me. Mr. Wasabi, Stanionis. All right. Hey, Stanionis he's a really, I know he's kind of a bit of he's a little bit more of an underdog than I kind of expected him to be. like I think Boots is rightfully the favorite in this fight, but I don't think he should be the favorite by that much. We'll see though. I mean, because the thing is, I I feel like I feel like Boots' style. I think Stanionis' style kind of serves Boots well. I think the fact that he has that high guard, I think that's going to allow Boots to really work and use that creativity that he has and that punch variety that he has to really pick apart the guard that Stanionis has. But Stanionis is such a tank, and the guy is going to test your chin. He's going to hit you. And Boots' defense has been a little shaky in recent fights. A little shaky. So, I would not be shocked if Stanionis wins tonight. Wouldn't be shocked, man. He's a really good fighter, and Boots better be sharp. He better be on his. And that's the thing is, I think he will be. I think he's going to be. I think that the kind of shaky performances he had will ensure, and the fact that this is a fight worth getting up for. This is a title unification fight. 2 undefeated fighters. So I think he'll be up to snuff, absolutely, sharp tonight. But if he's not totally sharp tonight, Stanionis will make him pay for it. Big time. Lithuania's room for hey, I love that, man. I think it's really cool for Lithuania to have that kind of representation. It's something I loved about Gennady Golovkin is the fact that, like, to me, it's like, well, besides Borat, who's a fictional character, I didn't know anyone from Kazakhstan, any big, celebrities or fighters or, whatever. So Golovkin, and the fact that Golovkin's such a, such a likable, figure. I love the fact that Kazakhstan got that shine, got that attention. And so, and so far I haven't seen anything to dislike about Stanionis. So I love the fact that, that Lithuania is getting that attention. Where was the silver medalist from the women's breakdancing silver medalist from? It was B girl, start with an N. Stanionis is simple and modest guy. Yeah, no, I mean, he had very modest upbringing from what I've read. She was from Lithuania. B girl, start with an N, right? B girl, what was it? She was the silver medalist in the breakdancing, and I thought she was the best. She was so good. Okay, hold on, I'm looking it up. Olympic silver medalist. B girl. I think her match against B girl Nika. Yes, thank you. Yes, B girl Nika. She was so damn good, man. She was awesome. Oh my god. And I thought that her match against oh god, why can I not remember anything? The American. I literally I put together a tape package on this that included her story here. But she didn't make the final round. It was hold on, wait, B girl. Oh god, my memory is just, what the hell? It's because I'm on the spot because I got the fucking stream going. Hold on. God damn. Okay, I'll come up with it later. But anyway, Nika was so damn good. I think the only reason that she got docked points is because she was because she repeated some moves. But I thought her style, her form was just so damn good. American girls. But yeah, I had a feeling. I thought that she was from Lithuania. I was like, wait, Lithuania. I thought the breakdancing the silver medalist was from there. It was logistics. That's what it was. Oh god, I just remembered. I remember. Okay, it was. I thought Nika versus logistics. Sorry, we're totally off of boxing right now. I mean, breakdancing and boxing. I feel like there's maybe some sort of connection. Boxing and dancing, I think, have a lot of connection. The fact that like the primary movements are with your, there's rhythm. Obviously, rhythm connects them, but then there's also movement of the feet, the hips, the shoulders. Like, those are kind of the primary points of movement for, I think, both disciplines. But yeah, Sonny Choi, yes, that was one of them. But Sonny Choi was one of them. But logistics was the one I was thinking of. Nika versus logistics was my favorite B-girl matchup of the Olympics, by far. Okay, where the hell was I going with this? Okay, yeah, so... Anyway, what the hell was I talking about before that? We're talking about breakdancing and boxing. So yeah, anyway, I'm pissed that breakdance is not going to be in the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Logan Edra, yes, no, that's okay. That's her government name. That's her real name, but logistics was her B-girl name. Yeah, so anyway, I'm glad. Yeah, Lithuania getting a little shine here with the breakdancing and with Stanionis. So I do love to see that. So very, very cool. I don't know who they're interviewing right now. They've got. Let's get on to the Raymond Ford fight because I'd love to see the Boots and Stanionis. That's what we're here for. Oh, okay. Sabi, I hope Eimantas is going to win. He could win, man. It's a really interesting fight, and I think that it'll be really interesting to see how Boots deals with the pressure and the volume and the durability that Stanionis is going to bring. Stanionis, for his part, is going to have to deal with the explosive athleticism and creativity of Boots. Both of them are going to have to answer some questions. And those are the best kinds of fights, man. Those are the best kinds of fights when you really don't know exactly how it's going to go. Of course, Boots is favored. But man, Boots, maybe he gets the stoppage. Maybe it's not as hard as I'm making it out to be. But I genuinely do think that on paper, this is not a slam dunk by any means. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you, Mr. Wasabi. Yeah, definitely making a name for itself. Okay, so yeah, Matisse coming up against Raymond Ford. Matisse being a fairly big 130-pounder. I really don't know much about Raymond Ford and Matisse. Laying my cards on the table there. But do you guys have any thoughts about this fight? But more importantly, any thoughts about Boots versus Stanionis? Any predictions? You can drop them in the comments here. But I will tell you this. I'll bring up my poll. Let's bring up the poll. Okay, I did a poll on my channel of the Boots versus Stanionis fight. We got hundreds of responses. Okay, and all right, we have 342 votes here in the poll. All right, so we've got 34% is the biggest plurality. That's Boots by decision. Boots by stoppage, 30%. So that's 64% of the 342 respondents say that Boots is going to win. Now we got 24% Stanionis via decision and 34% Stanionis via 24% Stanionis via decision and 13% Stanionis via stoppage. So that's 37%. So we got 64 and 37. Is my math right? 64 and 37. Does that make sense? Does that add up to 100? I don't think it does, but anyway, that's what I'm seeing. That's what the numbers say. That's what the percentages say. So, do it that way you will. But so basically, we got roughly a 64-36 really breakdown, at least in this poll of 342 votes of Boots over Stanionis. We'll see. I think that if Boots is going to win, he's going to get tagged. He's going to get tagged, and he's going to be... he might not even get that much... He might not even make people really believe in him after this fight. Because I think he's going to get touched a bit by Stanionis. The thing is that, I think Boots, is a guy who will scrap. I think I think he knows how to scrap, and he's got heavy hands. Some interviews I read of guys who've sparred with Boots or fought with Boots said that he feels like he's got bricks in his gloves. And the thing is, when you're 33-0 and you got 29 knockouts, even if you got a number of tomato cans in there, which like everyone Boots does, that's still a high knockout ratio. That's still a high knockout ratio. So that's legit. Paducas, am I going to show the fight? No, sir. Sorry. Otherwise I'm going to get knocked. I'm going to get slammed for copyright or whatever. So I am commentating as I got the zone on here, bringing you the play-by-play live action commentary. Right now we're between fights, so I'm kind of talking and bullshitting here with you. But they're showing a little tail of tape here of Ford and Matisse. So super featherweight fight. We'll see what happens here. But really this, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. Tonight is not really about the card, the main card. It's the main event. Okay. I guess Chakram is actually, that was an important fight. I think not just because he's a highly touted prospect, but also just what happened with his daughter and just everything that was a meaningful fight. I'm not as familiar with Raymond Ford. I know I've heard his name before, but like I said, not quite as familiar with him. But Boots and Stanionis, the real big intrigue of the night. Sorry, I can get more water here. Real intrigue of the night is the future of the welterweight division. Or really not the future, the present welterweight division. Because, as I said before, we're now in the post-Bud Crawford era, right? Bud Crawford was the undisputed champion of not only the junior welterweight division, but of the welterweight division, 140 and 147. Very impressive to become undisputed at both weight classes. But that's, he was the monarch of this division. You had Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence to decide who reigned supreme in this welterweight division in this era. Crawford decisively came out on top. Now, and he's moved on now to 154 pounds. And he's, going to be fighting Canelo, apparently, at 168. So, Bud's gone. And now you've got 4 different boxers, each of them with a piece of the welterweight title. If you consider it all one title. It's really 4 of the world titles. You gain all of them, you become undisputed, right? In case you don't know, if you have one of the titles, right, you get the 4 major titles. You got WBA, WBO, IBF, and WBC. You have one of those titles, and you could say you're a titleist, you're a champion. Okay, great. You get 2 or 3 of those titles, you're the unified champion. It's when you get all 4 of the titles that you become the undisputed champion. So, Pachuca, so you to watch free. I'll tell you this, Pachucas. It's on DAZN, and it's not pay-per-view on DAZN. If you're subscribed to DAZN, if you have a subscription, you can watch it without, and not being a pay-per-view. But you have to subscribe. I don't know where you can, watch it. illicitly or whatever. I don't need that shit on my laptop. Um, but yeah, that's my best advice to you, Patukas. All right, we got Raymond Ford coming to the ring here with a very flamboyant ring walk here. He's got a bright green robe with hot pink highlights, and he's got a rapper here with him. I don't know who this rapper is. Who is the rapper? He's got like a ski mask thing going. Also, the rapper does, with the sunglasses on. I've never been a fan of the sunglasses indoors kind of thing. I get he's doing his performance and whatnot. Probably a lot of lights, actually, a lot of bright lights on him. So, can be forgiven. But, oh yeah, Raymond Ford and Nick Ball. I forgot about. Okay, yeah, he's okay. All right, Raymond Ford. I do know Raymond Ford. I do know him. I just haven't followed him that closely. Yeah. All right, so he made his walk to the ring. Waiting for this guy Matisse. Let's get it going. Patugas, can you show how? My guy, you gotta sign up for DAZN and on the DAZN website, DAZN, and then you can and if you sign up, then you can watch the fights. All right, so we got holy shit, those are some real portrait tattoos. Okay. Anyone have any any bets on the fights tonight? I'll tell you this, I don't bet that much on sports. Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I throw a little bit. But the other night when we had Luka Doncic going over to back to Dallas for the first time after that absolute historic clusterfuck of a trade that Dallas made to Los Angeles, I was like, Luka is going to go off. This is not a profound revelation. I think anyone who follows basketball, much, if you know Luka Doncic, he thrives off of that kind of stuff. Thrives off the emotional fuel. And oh baby, I won a pretty penny just from betting that Luka would go apeshit, and he did. So I don't have any bets tonight though. No bets on tonight's fight. What other? I'm going to be sharing my commentary, Patukas. That's what I'm going to be doing as it happens. But right now, we've got the introductions for Raymond Ford and Thomas Matisse. So we're nearly here for this fight to happen. We had a first round knockout in the last fight, and we had a I think it was like a second round knockout, or it was like early in the early knockout with the Chakram fight. So it's been we've had some pretty expeditious bouts here tonight. Oh, Raymond Ford's from Camden. I didn't know that. Camden, New Jersey. That is a tough town, my friends. That's pretty cool, though. Fun fact: from raised in North Jersey, so I always like when I see Jersey guys. Shakur Stevenson, another Jersey guy representing Newark. All right, we're about to get started here with Raymond Ford and Thomas Matisse. It's my Duolingo reminding me that I got to study my Italian. All right, Ray Ford here is the heavy favorite. He was a minus 1,400 favorite when I checked the other day. So, let's see. This should be a showcase. He's coming out here, southpaw. Jose Martinez, while watching the Volk fight. No, I just got the boxing. I got the boxing on tonight with Boots and Stanionis. But I know UFC is on tonight as well. I was a big UFC guy in the 2000, like mid 2000s to like 2012. Holy shit! Ford is going off. A whirlwind of fists here from Raymond Ford. It was a beautiful little lead right hook that he caught Matisse with, but it got my attention here. All right, Ford, shout. Let's see it. Let's see it. He went to Ford. You went to a decision the other time, so let's see show something here. Give the crowd a reason to be clamoring for you back. Ooh, he swung for that left and missed. Okay, nice little counter right hook by Ford. But you got Matisse coming forward now, and Ford is on the back foot. And Ford just came forward with a backhand and a swivel jab and landed the swivel jab, which is nice. It's a combination that Pacquiao really likes to use. And actually a combination also that Sergey Kovalev liked to use too. One that I think gets underused sometimes. So you lead with the backhand and then come forward with the swivel jab. It has the force of a cross because your shoulder is loaded up. And a lot of times fighters aren't expecting the jab after the backhand. And Ford just landed another shot here against Matisse, who was on the ropes. Matisse looks like he's okay now. He's reclaimed the center of the ring. And both of them are kind of inching their way, trying to tussle for the center of the ring here. Oh, Ford going up and downstairs with his combination. And now Matisse coming forward. Oh, Ford comes forward again with the backhand and then the swivel jab. This is a nice example of how a fighter like Matisse can be coming forward, and yet it's the fighter on the back foot who is beating you, out fighting you, because it's that Ford is picking his moments to explode forward and throw his shots, even though Matisse might be the one who is walking forward. And that's actually something we might see tonight in the main event. Is Stanionis undoubtedly is going to be moving forward. That's his style. He comes forward, he presses forward, he's got that high guard, and he is a tank and he's trying to pressure you. And we might see Boots kind of be on the back foot and pick his moments to explode forward. And it's going to be up to Stanionis and his defense to be able to mitigate those attacks and, not get thrown off of his game plan, be able to stay in the pocket and actually, and use his feet too to maybe get out of range. But that dynamic that we just saw there a little bit, I'm not sure if that dynamic will continue in this fight, but I do suspect that's a dynamic that we'll see in the main event here afterwards. Yeah, that swivel jab after. So we just showed a replay of Ford throwing his backhand, but as a hook, but then coming back forward with the swivel jab, which is man, I think it's an underutilized weapon, that swivel jab in boxing, that Pacquiao used to great effect, and like I said, Kovalev used to great effect. Really nice to see it being used here. All right, they're back in the center of the ring. Ooh, okay, nice up and down work by Ford, ending with a cross to the body. Matisse now again coming forward. Oh, okay, and we see we have the Southpaw and Orthodox matchup, and when you have the Southpaw and Orthodox matchup, you get that battle of the lead hand, and we're seeing that battle of the lead hand right now, and Ford is the one who's winning it because your lead hands are touching, and oftentimes it's the guy who gets his hand on top of the other guy's hand, because you get your hand, you get the hands kind of touching each other, the lead hands, when you have the Orthodox and Southpaw, and if you get your hand on top, then you can get on top and boom, shoot over with the jab on them. So it's always you're trying to get your hand on top so you can bat it down and then jab. So we're seeing that. We're seeing that a bit here, and Ford is the one who's winning that lead hand battle. So a lot of times with the Orthodox and Southpaw, and I'm pretty confident Stanionis is Orthodox, and we know Boots is Southpaw. So a lot of times you want to watch the lead hand battle, which I was just describing there. And you want to watch the lead foot battle. And when it comes to the lead foot, it's who gains that outside foot position, because that gets you an advantageous angle. Oh, sorry, we're just watching a little bit of action here. Okay, nice little cross to the body by Matisse as Matisse is coming forward. Matisse is using a high guard coming forward, using the jab a little bit to the body, and he's got Ford in the corner, but now Ford works his way out and lands a nice hook. And Matisse, oh my God, Matisse carrying Ford. Ford gets his a headlock on Matisse. Matisse lifts him up and carries him to the corner. Now they're back in the center of the ring. Matisse really, he's talking shit. He's got his hands down. He's walking forward, talking shit. He's clearly, he's got some attitude, and it seems like he's not there to lay down, which is good. But it does seem like Ford is just more explosive. But Matisse is not here to lay down, and if he's able to weather the storm, will Ford gas out a little bit? Because those swivel jab combinations I'm talking about, and him exploding forward while Matisse is coming forward, that expends a decent bit of energy. Good cross by Ford there. Now, end of the round. So that's the interesting thing about coming forward, is that a lot of times people might think that the more aggressive fighter is the one who's using more energy, and that's not the case a lot of times. If you're a pressure fighter and you're coming forward, that's an energy efficient way to implement your style. A lot of times it's when you're moving around the outside of the ring, when you're dancing around, you're using your footwork and whatnot, that costs energy. That takes a good amount of energy. But if you're just kind of plodding forward, working your way forward, that is generally, it's more energy efficient. Now the thing about that is it's tough because you're moving forward, so you gotta have a pretty good defense, or else you're gonna get caught on your way in. But that's the thing, is that Ford is the one generally who's moving back and then exploding forward, and that definitely costs some energy. So we'll see if that winds up costing him anything in terms of his gas tank, and whether Matisse will make him pay for it. But we got Matisse moving forward again here, and Ford kind of was flashing out a jab. Matisse showing a bit more of a jab. And Ford now explodes forward again with a little combination. Matisse changing levels. He's kind of changing levels and backing away, almost kind of loading up for an overhand. But really kind of working the jab to the body, Matisse is. Ford explodes forward with a lead hook and then a cross. Ford throwing a little half guard here. Exploding forward again. I will tell you though, he's. I don't know. I don't like that half guard. He's using a good bit, but he's holding his hands low while Matisse is a bit close to him. So, all right, Matisse coming forward still. Ford again, wow, lands that good swivel jab. Matisse has to figure that out because Ford's landing it a lot. Ford is landing that swivel jab an awful lot as he explodes forward. And now Ford is the one moving forward. Oh, God, Ford just tried a lead uppercut. That did not land. But now Matisse coming forward. And Matisse not really engaging in the lead hand battle as much here. He's keeping his guard a bit tighter, and now Ford comes forward and lands a nice little shot through the guard. Matisse coming forward again. See, I don't like that Matisse isn't using his jab much now. That is a mistake a lot of fighters make, I think. A lot of fighters often will, if you have an orthodox southpaw matchup, a lot of times they'll abandon their jab. Ooh, nice combination there by Ford. A lot of times they'll abandon their jab, and it's like just because of that, the fact that the lanes are kind of occupied when you have the lead hands lined up like that. It's harder to land the jab because of the lanes being clogged by those lead hands. But like you can still land the jab, but you just got to be a little more clever. Again, Matisse is talking a little shit while he's moving forward. I mean, he's talking shit, but he is getting beat up. I mean, you know, like I said, it really the most that Matisse is doing is coming forward. He's landed a few jabs to the body. He hasn't landed much. Ford is the one who has landed the significant shots. So, as much as I'm talking about, you know, having to being careful to conserve energy, that, you know, Ford's using a lot of energy and whatnot, he's still landing the clean shots and the significant shots. So, so there's that. It just doesn't seem like he's really hurt Matisse badly to this point yet. They're showing boots in the arena here with a kind of dirty sweatshirt. It looked like he spilled paint on it or something like that. Maybe that's his style. I don't know, but it didn't look good. It was just me, but Ennis boots had like a very subdued vibe at the press conference. I don't know if that's just his vibe in general, or if it's if it was just for this fight, or if he feels a little weight drained. I don't know, but it looks like Raymond Ford's being a little more active now through a nice combination of the body. But now Matisse has got him against the ropes, but Ford fights his way off the ropes. Good jab by Matisse. Good little right hand there by Matisse as well. Matisse is getting a little more active now too. Look, it looks like the two of them are now loosening up a bit here in the round 4. Seeing a little... Oh, good combination by Ford. Ford on that swivel jab landed clean at the end of the combination, and that seemed to rattle Matisse for a moment, but he looks okay now. Yeah, see, the straight right. Matisse should be using that cross a bit more. I mean, that is, generally speaking, for an orthodox fighter, that is your primary weapon against a southpaw. Is that cross, because angle-wise, you're lined up. The straight right is just lined up, with the lefty, lined up with the southpaw, where it can just kind of go right through their guard. Okay. Ford coming forward here. Good left to the body. Another cross to the body by Ford. I will say this. One thing I'd like to see more from Ford is that I feel like his punches are kind of all at the same speed. He's like, like he's throwing them at the same intensity, and I would like to see, especially with this guy, Matisse, I'd like to see a little bit more pity pat shots. Pity pats, as they call them. Soft little punches, but they're meant to do is just occupy the guard and to open up, make openings. It just seems like when you throw your punches at the kind of same intent. Oh, good cross by Matisse. That was the first real clean shot that I saw Matisse land that actually knocked Ford's head back a little bit. I mean, no doubt about it, Ford is winning this fight. Clearly winning this fight, but he's supposed to. He's like a minus 1,400 favorite. So that's why Matisse does something. I'm like, oh, well, excited. Ford is winning this fight, clearly. But Ford is supposed to win this fight, and he's supposed to win it pretty comfortably. He is, but, Show us something. Okay. Yeah, it was a good right. But, like, Matisse is, talking shit. Yep, that's what you see. He said the power jab, swivel jab. It's the same thing. It's when your shoulder is loaded up. It's after you throw that rear hand that now this shoulder is loaded up for for even just a jab. It's when this hand is forward and bang, you got that jab loaded up as if it's a cross. And that's how you saw Kovalev get some real hard shots just through those. All right, we're back at it here. And yeah, like I was saying before, it seems like Ford is throwing his shots at the same intensity. They're all throwing at like 90%, intensity. And I'd like to see a bit more variety in the intensity of his shots, because for one thing, also, it changes up the rhythm. It changes the tempo, the timing on your shots. Good cross by Matisse, and good little uppercut there by Ford. Okay, good cross by Ford, but it was on Matisse's guard. You know what? That's something I'd like to see. I'd like to see, because I just saw Ford measure Matisse and hit and measure and hit. And he's measuring and hitting, which is okay. That's cool. But what I'd like to see, if he can, is a little bit of guard manipulation, a little bit of guard destruction. Because Matisse has got his hands up here, and when a fighter has got that high guard up here, we saw David Benavidez do this against David Morrell a few weeks back, where someone's got that high guard. If quickly you're able to just kind of peel down and then throw around. So I got that hard guard, and you go to and you peel down that hand with your other glove quickly, and then throw here on the opening. When you do that, that's something that Ford could be doing some of, which would also make Matisse more wary about putting up that high guard. So I'm just kind of picking at things that Ford can do, I think, to try and hopefully get the stoppage here, because that's what he should be gunning for, a stoppage in this fight. Ooh, nice right hook there by Ford. Yep, Ford throwing again, but Matisse is catching a lot of these shots on his high guard. Oh, good jab by Matisse. Good jab by Ford. One good thing I will say also with Ford is that, I was gonna say he doesn't look like he's tired much, but he does look a bit slower. I mean, you're gonna look a little slower after several rounds, but Ford's. I will say I do really like his, those 2-1-2 or those 2-1 combinations, and those swivel jabs on the end of Ford's combos. I really like. And he's clearly got some. He's got some quick hands. He's got some explosiveness. But I think I don't know. I guess. Oh yeah. Okay. A replay of a hook here, a right hook. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see it, Raymond Ford. We're in round 6 now. Round 6 of 10. I think there is a minor title on the line for this fight, like Continental something or whatever. Matisse looking a little more active now. He's just coming forward, moving side to side, using that high guard. good right hand by Matisse, and it was a real like lead hand battle happening. Now they're both in the corner. Referee breaks them up. Matisse coming forward. Matisse trying to use that cross, that right hand a little more as a weapon here. Matisse now has Ford in the corner again. I will say, I mean, I don't like how easily Ford is giving up this territory. He's been driven to the corner and to the ropes quite a bit. And, you know, he has more firepower than Matisse. But it's not a great thing. Oh, clash of heads there. Not a great thing to let yourself get driven back to the ropes and into the corner like that. Okay, nice little feint up and then jab down by Ford. Oh, Matisse with a nice little jab upstairs and cross to the body. Ford with a 1-2-3, but that all gets caught onto Matisse's guard. Ooh, good swivel jab on the end of that combo again by Ford. That catches Matisse, and now they're tied up. Referee breaks them up. Oh, good little cross right hook by Ford around Matisse's guard. Matisse could be doing more too. I mean, he is coming forward, but you know, I feel like there's a bit more posing by Matisse in terms of like, you know, he was doing a little more shit talking earlier, but like talking and making faces and whatnot than there is punches. Oh, good punch there by Ford. Looked like it kind of bothered Matisse a little bit. Oh, Matisse kind of dancing around now. A little cross. Matisse got his hands down kind of with a very low guard. And you just backed away as Ford jumped forward with his little combination. But, I mean, Matisse looks like he's kind of loosening up in there with his, you know, he's dropping down his hands and kind of with a low guard there. That's the thing. I feel like, I don't know. To me, Ford is letting Matisse feel a bit too comfortable. Oh, thank you, Jose Martinez. I appreciate you, brother. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I want to really like Ray Ford because the guy's from Camden. We saw dressing room shots of Boots and Stanionis. The fight that we're waiting for. That's the fight I'm excited about. Is that a what kind of bag? It's a designer backpack that Boots has got there. Oh, it's a good reminder is that Stanionis is his wife is like due to give birth any minute, and the guy is here about doing a fight. So, very cool. That's the thing. I want to really like Ford, from New Jersey, you know, and there's good things about him. There's things to like about him, but I'm going to be critical, particularly if you're a minus 1,400 favorite in a fight, and it just doesn't. I don't know. At this moment, we're in round 7 now, and it seems like Matisse is getting looser and more comfortable now as the fight goes on. It felt like the first couple rounds, it was more lopsided in Ford's favor, and it feels like as the fight's gone on, Matisse has gotten a bit more comfortable. Even though Ford has still been landing some shots, I want to see more. I want to see more from him. I want to see it go for it. I don't want you to let Matisse get this combo. Okay, there's a good little combination by Ford. Matisse shakes it off and comes forward. It just feels like he jumps forward again with the 1-2-1, and it's just like I feel like I'm seeing a lot of the same combinations here from from Ford. I'd like I don't know, a little more. He's jumping back, jumping forward. You know, just a little more creativity. Maybe, I don't know. Am I in a pissy mood because I had work earlier today? I don't know. But I'd like to. I don't know. I just like to see more. You have Matisse coming forward now again with a right hand. Is Matisse well known? Is he not? You know, am I not giving him as much credit as I should be? Thomas Matisse. Thomas is coming forward again. Let's look up what is Matisse's record, because I know I do notes for these fights. I have notes, but I with this work has been nuts, and I couldn't put together that comprehensive in notes. All right, Matisse is 22-4-1. He's 34 years old. Gunnaman, who's he? Creepy Christian Tapia, okay, in 2022. Ramiro Cesena. He lost to Eduardo Hernandez. He lost to he lost to Isaac Cruz. I don't know. All right, he's not bad. He's certainly not bad. You know, but I don't know. I guess I'd like to see a little more out of Ford. All right, one round closer to Boots and Stanionis. Okay. Oh my God. Oh. Let's see. If Boots wins tonight, who you got if he fights Virgil? Okay, that's a good question, Jose. I will say that I want to see how he looks tonight. I want to see how he looks tonight, because if his defense looks leaky again, that's going to be tough, because Virgil hits like a goddamn truck. And so you can't really afford, if Boots is working his jab, firing on all cylinders, using that jab and looking, pretty slick and solid in there, defense, then okay, maybe I'll go with Boots. But if he wins and his defense looks leaky, and he gets caught with a bunch of shots, but just able to able to tough through it or whatever. Stanionis does hit hard, but Virgil Ortiz, man, that's gonna be tough. Yeah, so I guess it is a bit of a cop-out, but I do want to see how he looks tonight, because if he fights like he fought, the previous fight, then maybe I'll edge Ortiz in that. If he kind of steps up to the moment where he's got a title unification against another undefeated fighter, and he looks really great, then okay, maybe it changes my outlook. But if that fight does come to pass, I will plan on doing a preview and prediction video and really dive into it, because I do have to really dive into that fight. Oh, okay. Forward again, coming forward. Yeah, okay, Matisse coming forward again. It's just kind of the same patterns here. Matisse coming forward, Ford, fighting, working his way off the ropes with 1-2-1 and everything like that. He fights Virgil. Let's look up. Or let me do a quick just refresher on Virgil's latest record and everything. Virgil Ortiz. I mean, he's a fucking problem. Virgil is. Yeah, Virgil 23-0 with 21 knockouts. The dude is 23-0 with 21 knockouts. He's a real problem, man. Who did he recently fought? Decision over Israel Madrimov. He looked good against Matt. I mean, I will say he he actually beat Madrimov and Boachuk in his last two fights is real impressive. Those are solid wins. So I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I think Ortiz is the more proven fighter. Which can become undisputed 147 or and was undisputed 147. He could if he wins tonight, because the other two fighters are Mario Barrios, who is good, but I think he'll get a bit pieced up by Ennis. And then the other guy, I always forget the name of the other welterweight champion, because I know it's Stanionis, it's Boots, it's Barrios, and then who is the last of the welterweight champions? But the point is, I think he could beat the other guys. The question for me though is that Boots is kind of big for this division, and he flirted with the idea before of leaving the division and moving up. So I think he can, but I'm not sure that he will. Just because I don't know if he wants to stay at this weight. Norman Jr., thank you, Norman Jr. Yeah, Brian Norman Jr., I think, right? Yeah, Norman Jr. What's Norman Jr.'s record, right? Brian, I know he's like 27 and I think with 20 knockouts. Brian Norman Jr. Yeah, who did he beat? Honestly, it doesn't look like he's beaten anybody that doesn't look like he's beat anybody that notable. I guess Giovanni Santillan. That's a decent win. So I suspect that Ennis can beat Barrios and Norman Jr. But it sounds to me like he's kind of itching to move up. Although I don't think he wants anything with Bud. But Bud has Bud's looking to do his fight against Canelo, and Bud's 37 years old. And he kind of said he only wants like the real big fights. So I think that Crawford's on his way out. I don't know. Do you guys have any interest in interest in Canelo and Crawford? I mean, it's like it is interesting. There's no way to say it's not interesting. But like, any thoughts on? Does anyone think? All right, put it this way. Anyone think that Crawford upsets Canelo at super middleweight 168? Let's see. All right, we're in round 9 here. We're almost done. This fight. Oh, we got Ray Ford is now talking shit. Talking shit back to Matisse. Matisse talking a little shit. Matisse doing some Ric Flair impressions with his woos. I will say I kind of like the fact that the ref is letting them chirp back and forth at each other. I think a little chirping is fine, let it's a fight. Let them chirp a little bit if they want. You can't let it get out of hand, but a little chirping I think is all right. When Ali was doing the what's my name? Come on. Sometimes it's legendary. Okay. We're moving on to round 10. But anyway, Jose, you heard my thoughts with Ennis, and in that I think Ennis can beat the other welterweight champions, but I suspect he's not gonna want to stick around at 147. What do you think? we're getting closer here. We got one more round, and then we've got our big fight. Oh, did I just lose something? Yeah, okay. All right, round 10. Oh, okay. Nice little exploding move forward by Ford there. But again, it's the same thing where the backhand and the swivel jab. Yeah, it's a pretty good. I don't know. I guess I give it a B performance for Ford so far. I mean, we're at the end, 2 minutes left here in the last round. Yeah, I give him a B performance. Like, he looked pretty good, but like there's definitely things that I think he could do better. But he clearly has won, like every round. It's pretty much a shutout here. But we he could have seen more. Could have seen him hurt Matisse. Could have seen him drop Matisse, let alone stop him. All right. Any more votes? We'll check if there's any more votes in the poll. Shared the results of them earlier. What do you guys have for Boots versus Stanionis? Who do you have winning? How do you have them winning? Feel free, drop your predictions in the comments while I check the updated poll numbers. All right, it looks like it hasn't 5 more votes, so it hasn't really changed much. So it's 33% of 347 votes. We got 33% say Boots wins via decision, 30% say Boots via stoppage, 24% say Stanionis via decision, 12% Stanionis via stoppage. So that's 63% say Boots will win. In my poll, and we've got 36% say Stanionis will win. All right, we got 15 seconds left here. I think it's Max is saying there's an excellent showcase. It's like, yeah, right, it's a decent showcase. I don't know. I think excellent's a strong word. I think it was a solid performance. It's good, not great. Okay, Jose, you got Boots by TKO late. Jeffrey's on. You got Boots late KO. Okay, all right. Some Boots by stoppage. That is something that I suspect as well. I've suspected that Boots will get the stoppage really just because of, I think, how the styles match up. Like I had mentioned before, that high guard that Stanionis has, I think, will potentially allow Boots to really open up his arsenal of punches and use that punch variety and really, give him a chance to pick apart that guard and and hopefully use his jab. I would like to see him use his jab more in this fight. And so I suspect that at least that's what I'm leaning towards as well. But we'll see. Stanionis is he's a tough SOB, and he is a very live dog. So that's what makes this fight fun. Both these guys have to answer questions about each other, about themselves. Really, is I mentioned this before, is Boots going to be, how will Boots deal with the forward pressure, the volume, and the just the aggression of Stanionis, and how is Stanionis going to deal with the explosiveness and the speed and the dynamism of Boots Ennis. Do you know you can beat all champion 126? No, you can beat all the champions. No, yeah, 126. That's an interesting question. No, let's see. Hold on. 126. Let's remind myself of the fighters here. Let's see, Jose. See, the thing is, I would love to do more content on Naoya, on Inoue. He is so damn good, and I love watching videos of him. I thought his fight against Nonito Donaire was like really spectacular, and he's a spectacular fighter. I wish I did more content on him, but the problem is that his fights are all on Top Rank, and you do videos online on YouTube. Top Rank is very protective over their footage, and so you include any Top Rank stuff whatsoever, they nail you with a copyright claim. And so I haven't gotten to study up on Inoue and his and just his let's say about Inoue and the 126-pound division quite as much as I would like. And at featherweight, I know Nick Ball is a he's a lot of people, he's tough, and Fulton had a good performance recently. Fulton is WBC is the WBC champ. And he might be a little tough. But some of these other guys, I'm not as familiar with some of the other 126ers. Nick Ball, Stephen Fulton, I'm aware of, but I don't have great answers on Inoue at 126, unfortunately, Jose. I'll have to study that a little bit, and I'd love to do some content on Inoue, because that's really when I really grapple and study up even really heavily on fighters and whatnot. But just with Top Rank and their and how they handle their content, it's made it a little tougher. But I think Inoue is a remarkable fighter. Oh yeah, he knocked out, he stopped Fulton though, Inoue, didn't he? He stopped Fulton a couple of years ago, 2023. So I mean, ostensibly he can beat Fulton. At 126, I could say he beats Fulton. But here's also the thing. I mean, I don't think we're seeing much in the way of degradation, but Inoue is 32. Let's see. Boxing record. Luis Neri. Yeah, Inoue is he's special, man. I'd love to see more of him. About damn becoming WC champion. And Jose, David becoming WBC champ. David Benavidez. So if you guys are paying attention, so basically WBC had ordered Dimitri Bivol to fight David Benavidez. Now that Bivol is the undisputed light heavyweight champion, and Benavidez had just beaten David Morrell, WBC ordered Benavidez to the Bivol to fight Benavidez, and Bivol basically said no. So now Benavidez, WBC gave Benavidez the belt now. So he's, as say in the sport, an email champion, so to speak. He's just got notified that now he's the WBC champion because of that decision that Bivol made. But it's not that Bivol's running away. It's because Bivol is ostensibly now going to fight Artur Beterbiev in the trilogy, the big trilogy fight. So, it just it's weird to see a fighter win become a champion without fighting. A lot of times this happens. You get the title becomes vacant, and then the two top contenders fight for it. WBC does things a little differently. So Benavidez is now the WBC champ. I don't even think Benavidez really wanted to become WBC champ that way. So, he is now. It is what it is. I don't blame Bivol. I just think it's a weird thing with the WBC. Because it's not like he's picking the easy way out by fighting Beterbiev for a third time. Beterbiev is still really dangerous, even at 40 years old. And fighting Benavidez and then going to fight Beterbiev doesn't really help either, because Beterbiev is, as I said, 40 years old. He's not getting any younger. So, whereas Benavidez is, 27 years old? So, that fight can marinate a little bit. So, I don't have any problem with Benavidez becoming the WBC champ. Ideally, he wouldn't just become an email champ that you need to fight for, but that's just the way it is. So it is what it is. And do I think the Canelo fight can happen? Yeah, I do think the Canelo fight can happen. I think that might be what ultimately happens. In that, we'll see with what Turkey has planned, Turkey a la Sheikh. But I think we're getting Bivol and Beterbiev. They're going to be fighting each other. I don't know what Benavidez is doing next, but Canelo is going to be fighting Skull. And then Canelo is fighting, I think, Crawford, but Beterbiev and Bivol are fighting. I think, Benavidez is going to want to fight Bivol after that, or maybe Beterbiev after that. But I think down the line, I think that could be in 2 or 3 fights, we could get Canelo and Benavidez. I think it's possible. I don't think it's out of the question yet. I don't think it's out of the question. But I will say this also. David's fighting Smith. Oh, wait a minute. He's fighting. Let's see. Hold on. Benavidez. Next fight. Let's see. What is his next fight signed? Okay, right. Benavidez versus Callum Smith discussions are ongoing. All right, so he might fight Callum Smith next, and that'd be a fun fight. I'll tell you that right now. That'd be a fun fight. Yeah, I think I think that the Canelo fight can happen. But here's the thing. Benavidez, neither of them really need the fight. I want to see it. I think everyone still wants to see it. We all want to see it. Canelo doesn't have that much incentive to do it. Canelo is kind of, in his home stretch here, I think, of his career. And Canelo's kind of indicated that I think he wants to retire around 37, 38 years old. And Canelo's, 35 now? we'll see if he winds up fighting Benavidez. I think there's a little bit of I almost think there's a little bit of what's the word? Resentment. I think Canelo's a little resentful of all the pressure on him to fight Benavidez, because for Canelo, he's like saying, "Hey, I fought everybody. I fought so many guys. Like I fought Gennady Golovkin, who is an absolute boogeyman. Nobody wanted to fight him. I fought Floyd. Earlier on, fought Floyd Mayweather. I fought Miguel Cotto and beat him. I fought. I moved up I moved up out of my weight class to fight Dimitri Bivol. Insane, to do that. Like I've taken on tough fights, and now you want me. And that's the thing about Canelo, which is just crazy, is that Canelo is not a 168 pounder. Like Canelo is, he was 154, and then 160. I think 160 is really kind of where he's supposed to be. Like he's big. Like I think that's kind of the way he's supposed to be. But he's so damn good. Now he becomes undisputed at 168. He's not big for that weight class, and he fights Bivol at 175, which is Canelo. I don't think has any business fighting. He shouldn't be fighting at 175. But that's to fight Benavidez, a guy who's like 6'2", and like long and rangy, and now fighting at light heavyweight. It's just such a size. It's just such a big difference in size. I don't know. I mean, I still think it's a really good fight, though. I still think Canelo and Benavidez is a very good fight, and very competitive. In a Canelo versus David fight, you'd favor David? Yeah. It's tough. I think if you asked me a year or two ago, I would probably tell you, I might tell you Canelo, but now I don't know. The thing is that I am a little put off by the fact that even though I said all those things about how Canelo, why Canelo is resentful of, I think, people putting pressure on him to fight Benavidez, I think the fact that he's been so avoidant of it has made me a little less comfortable picking him against Benavidez. And Benavidez is getting better. He's getting better, and part of that is that he's a real student of the game. And one thing I love about Benavidez is that he is a humble dude. Like he's, even though his nickname is the Monster, El Monstruo, and he's got a real personality, but he's a humble guy. I've seen the footage of him. I've seen the footage of him training, working with Andre Ward and working with coaches, and he puts his ego to the side and he just absorbs, and he asks what they think. Okay, you move out like this way and that. Like he's a real student of the game. I think he's getting better. I think he's I was impressed by his performance against David Morrell, and he showed that he's a level above Morrell in his craft. In his veteran craft, and the fact that he was peeling Morrell's guard and whipping right hooks around, around that glove, peeling down Morrell's guard, whipping right hooks around there. He just showed his experience there against Morrell. Even though Morrell is explosive and dangerous and did drop Benavidez, and that's the thing, is that I think I lean towards Benavidez in the fight against Canelo. Benavidez by decision, but Canelo is very dangerous against Benavidez. Very dangerous, because Canelo does hit hard, and Benavidez, I think, has a better defense than a lot of people give him credit for, but he will shell up. He will shell up in a high guard, and just kind of absorb punches, and Canelo loves it when you do that, because then he'll just tenderize your biceps and your arms, just overhand rights and hit you on that. But the good thing for Benavidez is that he's got fast hands. He's rangy. He's starting to make more use of his jab. He's starting to make more use of counter punching. Of course, Canelo's a better counter puncher than him, but it'd be a tough fight. Oh, you saying the Benavidez slipped? I have to watch it again, but Morrell did catch him with a little right hook on the inside, and Benavidez has been dropped in the past. He doesn't have he's got a good chin. He's got a good chin. He doesn't have an iron chin like Canelo, but he's got a good chin. So yeah, I think I lean towards, and also, is the fight happening at 168? Are we saying the fight happens at super middleweight, or are we saying it happens at 175? I guess that's another question if we're talking about Benavidez versus Canelo versus Benavidez. I would think we're talking about 168. All right, they're showing some highlights of Boots. His shoulder was off balance, was he? All right, let's get this fight going, for goodness sake. Oh yeah, okay, wait. All right. So yeah, the knockdown. Okay, yeah. All right. Now I remember what I was thinking. Okay, so no. Just rewind. Okay. So you're 100% right that yeah, his gloves touching the ground there, that hitting the shoulder, that was just that was a slip. That wasn't an actual knockdown. What I was thinking of was when Benavidez was coming in and Morrell caught Benavidez with a short little lead hook on the chin, and when we saw Benavidez get hurt, and was clearly hurt and covering up, and Morrell was like throwing punches. He wasn't knocked down, I don't think, at that point, but he was clearly hurt. That was the thing I was thinking of. But when his gloves touched whoever, that was a push. That wasn't really a knockdown, that one. So yeah. Anyway, that's the clarity I was thinking of. He was hurt by Morrell, but that wasn't a knockdown that I was thinking of. 175. Yeah, I don't know if Benavidez can make one. I mean, he was at 168 for a while, but once he move up in weight, it's harder to come back down. So that'd be tough. Yeah, 175. That's a tough. I mean, yeah, I would think if they fought, I would think that Canelo would make him do it at 168, and I think Benavidez would do it just because it's it's such a big fight. It's a huge fight, big money fight. So I think Benavidez was at 168. I think he would get back down for it, because I mean, maybe Canelo was up to 175, but I think Canelo would use that A side gravity to make Benavidez do it. But at 175, I definitely lean even more in Benavidez's favor. Just because Benavidez is much more of a true 175er than Canelo. And like I said, Benavidez is he's getting better, and Canelo is not getting any younger. I think some people believe that Canelo is degrading or whatever, and I don't really subscribe to that as much. I just think that Canelo's style has changed a little bit, but he still hits hard, man. He's knocked down like everybody that he's fought in the past few years. Um, uh, so anyway, I hope we do get that fight. We got the dressing rooms here, the locker rooms. Sorry, of Ennis and Stanionis. We see Stanionis is just doing some mitt work here, and Ennis got his robe on, doing a little bit of shadow boxing. Man, Stanionis looking intense. This is a good fight. This is exciting. Um, this is going to be really interesting. I'm particularly interested to see how Boots uses his jab, because I think he didn't use it enough in some recent fights, and it's going to be real. I think real important here against a guy like Stanionis, who particularly kind of puts his hands up, his guard up, and use that jab to kind of try and keep those hands at home. And plus the fact that Boots is only like 2.5 inches taller than Stanionis. Boots, I think, like 5'10" and a half. Stanionis is listed, 5'8". Boots has a much longer reach. Boots has a 74-inch reach, whereas Stanionis has a 68-inch reach. So we're talking a 6-inch reach advantage for Boots, which makes the jab even more potentially potent for Boots if he deigns to use it more in this fight. But Boots has been a little bit. He's looked like he's been real interested in kind of fighting, scrapping. In some sense, a little more than boxing in some of his recent fights, and that would be real dangerous against this guy here. Well, I think it was Canelo's hardest fight recently. I think Jaime was. Um, yeah, Jaime did show some good, some resistance there. Um, let's take a look, because Canelo. So I know he knocked down. Oh, you think Bud has a good chance? I think Bud will acquit himself well. Um, I think toughest recent fight for Canelo. I have to rewatch again. Jaime is a good one. I thought John Ryder was um, was a tougher fight than expected for Canelo. Um, and he did knock down Ryder with a right hand, but Ryder, after that, he did put it on Canelo a little bit. So I think I would probably go with John Ryder as being Canelo's toughest recent-ish fights. I think that was in 2023, the John Ryder fight. Um, but yeah, Bud against Canelo. I don't know. The problem is that it's just it's such a. John was southpaw. Like, yeah, no, that's certainly, I think, played a factor as a southpaw, but also he's just fucking tough. John Ryder was just tough, man. He was a tough SOB. He wouldn't take no for an answer. All right, we're getting ready here. We got David Diamante is about to do the introductions. All right, it's 10:30. A little, they could have done this. They could have done this 20 minutes ago, for being honest here. We had a first round knockout 2 fights ago. Oh, we're doing the the national anthems here. Okay. Um. Mhm. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Southpaw. Yeah. Ryder. He's a southpaw. That made it a little tough. Um. And Billy Joe Saunders. That was 2021, but also a southpaw. Some slick skills, was giving Canelo some issues for a little bit, but Canelo wound up breaking his face. So how can you, so that's its own thing. But all right, we got the Lithuanian national anthem going here. All right. So again, some. Oh, damn it. Wrong. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Stanionis is an amateur. Won 141 out of 160 bouts. Won a pair of youth titles, youth national titles. 2015 European Championships. Represented Lithuania in the 2016 Olympics in Rio, and wound up losing to Shakram Giasov of Uzbekistan, who fought earlier tonight and had a second round knockout, something like that. It was a beautiful straight right to the liver. But Stanionis, legit amateur background. His career kind of stalled out a little bit for a little while when he was trying to nail down a fight against Virgil Ortiz. All right, Jose, good night to you. Appreciate you coming by the stream, man. Thank you. Have a good night. And you got boots. All right, noted. You're on the books. So Stanionis has a real pedigree, a real background. And real skills. It just, his career, like I said, it kind of stalled out a little bit. He was trying to fight Virgil Ortiz for years and years, and that just, like 5-6 times he was trying to make it happen. And it didn't. But I think he's fought only once in like the last 3 years. But the dude, he grew up in Lithuania. His dad left when he was 2 years old, raised by his mother, fighting, getting into street fights out in the streets of Lithuania. And his male really made a name for himself. And then you got Boots Ennis, grew up in Philadelphia. His dad is his trainer. And he also, real solid amateur pedigree, won the Golden Gloves a couple of years. Highly touted prospect. I think he wound up losing to Gary Antoine Russell to get on the Olympic team. So he wound up going pro, and he's been a force. And the dude, he's 33-0 with 29 knockouts, serious pop in his punches, serious athleticism, southpaw, dynamic. He's a problem, and somebody that a lot of people wanted Bud Crawford to fight. Really, a lot of people wanted to see Boots versus Bud versus Boots, really. But Bud had his own things going on, has now moved on. He's moved on to 154. He's looking to fight Canelo, so it doesn't look like we're gonna see Bud versus Boots. I think Crawford's 37 years old now, and he said I'm looking for really just big fights at this point in my career. Bud is looking to sail off into the sunset, so it's not about Bud Crawford anymore. That's the big thing about tonight. It's not about Bud Crawford. This is about the welterweight division after Crawford. And 4 different belts, 4 different champions. We got 2 of them in the ring tonight fighting to unify two of the titles. So let's see who is going to stake their claim in the 147-pound welterweight division. And that starts tonight. And we got ring walks now coming finally. Starting with Stanionis. So both of these guys really have, this is a huge fight for both of them. Like I said, Stanionis had his career stalled for a little while trying to fight Virgil Ortiz. And he just fought on the last time he fought was on the Canelo versus Jaime Munguia card. And he got the win there. So he's trying to, get his career, back on track here. But he's still undefeated. Like I said, 15-0 with 9 knockouts. He's got a daughter who's about to be born on the way. Should be born any day now. So he would love to, he would love to welcome her into the world as the unified welterweight champion, with the world as his oyster. All right, who will win? Fan Zone. They've got Ennis by KO, Ennis by decision 30, Ennis by KO 45, Ennis by decision 34, Stanionis by KO 11, Stanionis by decision 10. So their poll, the Zone's poll, is actually a lot more lopsided than the poll that I've got up on my channel. So that poll there that they've got is like a 79-21 in favor of Boots. What I got on my channel, because I've got the better poll, better results, is more of like a 63 37 or 36. The math doesn't really work out in the poll here, but that's 63 to 37 there. So I think that makes more sense. 80-20 is a little too lopsided to me. All right, now we got Boots doing his ring walk here, giving a dapping up Raymond Ford. That is a weird robe there that he's got. He's got like blue fur around his collar and around the sleeves, and then like two kind of blue fur titties there. He's got two little blue fur titties, and he's coming out to the Undertaker's song. We've got the Undertaker's theme music. If you watch WWE, the Undertaker with that bong, and then the music. That's what he's got. I would love if, they missed an opportunity. They could have used the smoke machine and really made it like the Undertaker. Missed opportunity. Smoke machine, get the dark blue lights and everything like that. They could have really... Now it's switching. Okay, so wait. It started with the Undertaker music. Now it's switching to something else. Okay, there's the gong. You hear? I don't know if you heard it. Come on, there's more you can do with that. I like the idea. Oh my God, taking your sweet time. Just get to the ring already. Oh God. What is taking so long? Okay, now we got another song. Who spammed this Ennis versus Stanionis on pay-per-view-hd.com? I don't need that shit. All right. Oh, that's kind of cool. See, Boots just appeared in writing in green on the screen here. Now he's coming out. Okay. All right, people. We got a ring walk coming. He is taking his sweet time walking to the ring, but he is walking to the ring. We'll have a fight here eventually in the next in the next few minutes, I hope. He's walking to the ring, guys. It's just stick with me here. Um, but yeah, I mean, look, Stanionis is he's gonna chin check uh, Boots. So I at least I believe he will. He's gonna be coming forward and he's gonna be throwing. No, he's gonna bring the heat. And Boots has shown a bit of a leaky defense as of late. He's not a defensive maestro. He's more of a dynamic, dynamic offensive, uh, artiste. He is a bit of a maestro on offense. I'll put it that way. He's got a lot of flash. Sometimes a little too much flash. Could use a little more. Sometimes he does certain moves that he doesn't have to do in order to avoid shots. But he's really good. He's really, really good. So, it's a real clash of styles where you've got a dynamic, flashy, explosive Philadelphia boxer puncher on one hand, and then you've got a swarming, pressure-fighting Lithuanian tank on the other hand. That's what we got. Two undefeated, both of them undefeated. Those two styles, undefeated, clashing here tonight. Which one's going to reign supreme? Which one is going to lay claim to the welterweight division in the post-Bud Crawford era? And that's what we're waiting to find out here. Both of them are in the ring now. David Diamante is doing his thing. Oh, Melvino Lathan, okay. Appreciate you guys who are here right now in my vision. I can't. Okay, good. Appreciate you guys being here. Hopping on the stream, and dealing with me as I take out the last bit of water that I have. Oh man, David Diamante with the extra flash tonight. You got the electric blue suit. He's got the chain with the black turtleneck, Dwayne Johnson kind of turtleneck going. He's got his hair done to the side, glasses. Man, he's looking good. Okay. All right, we're getting the introductions going. Again, I do want to underscore if Boots can take advantage of his, if he can capitalize on his reach advantage, that would be really good for him for this fight because he's got a 6-inch reach advantage over Stanionis with a 74-inch reach compared to Stanionis' 68-inch reach, which is why I've been harping on the jab. I think that he can really maximize that reach advantage if he implements the jab as a real instrumental part of his game plan here tonight. Stanionis repping Lithuania. Got my folks in Lithuania here. B-girl Nika, not there at the event that I can see, but really appreciate the Lithuanian contingent. All right, now we got Boots being introduced. Philadelphia's finest. Home of the Super Bowl champions. 33-0 at 29 knockouts. That is a menacing record there. Guys, this is a really good fight. This is a really good fight. I'm just saying. I'm pumped for this. Because these are two these are two world-class fighters who are about to clash with different styles, but both crowd-pleasing, both exciting, both undefeated, both champions, both looking to make their mark, lay their claim on the welterweight division, and both looking to send their career into the next level of the atmosphere. Okay, now they're about to come to the center of the ring here. Referee's giving instructions. We're getting ready to go. All right. And touch gloves, and now they go into their respective corners. Stanionis, raised by his mother. Father left when he was 2 years old, fighting on the streets. Boots, raised in Philadelphia. His father is his trainer. Just another part of the world, but both these guys with very different backgrounds, very different styles, and and now coming together to see which man is going to be the better fighter tonight. All right, here we go. Okay, Boots flashes a jab. Stanionis coming forward. Stanionis a little faint. Boots working the jab up and then down. Boots is working the jab, which is good. Good sign, I think, at least so far, early on, that that might be part of his game plan here. So we've seen nothing but jabs from Boots so far. We've seen a handful of jabs. Boots jabbing upstairs and downstairs. I've seen like 10, 11 jabs, 12 jabs, something like that from Boots now already. Oh, little jab by Stanionis lands. Boots throwing more jabs upstairs and downstairs. Lots of jabs from Boots. Just as I had expected / hoped, we're seeing a ton of only jabs by Boots so far. All jabs. Good little feint by Stanionis got Boots off balance for a second. And there Boots throws his first right hand, but Boots is actually orthodox right now. Boots fighting orthodox. Normally he's a southpaw. And break. Boots is working the jab. Nice little counter uppercut. All right, and Boots still working that jab. Really a ton of good, a lot of jabs by Boots. Good right hand to the body. Right hook to the body by Boots. Stanionis still coming forward. Stanionis working side to side. Stanionis kind of squaring up. Oh, good left hook. Good counter left hook by Stanionis. Caught Boots as Boots is kind of going around the corner there. Boots is now southpaw. Interesting. Boots switching between southpaw and orthodox. Boots is back to the southpaw now. Stanionis coming forward. Good jabs. This is a good jab by Stanionis. This is exactly what I was thinking about, what I was hoping for. We've got Boots trying to keep Stanionis on the outside, working his jab, pumping his jab. Stanionis mostly on the outside, but having some moments of real success, and has landed a couple shots on Boots here. Okay, now they're clinching here. Yeah, neither of these guys is... all right, here we go. Boots doing a nice job making sure he jabs upstairs and downstairs. But a good jab here by Stanionis. Stanionis has got a nice shotgun jab. Power jab, leaps forward. Stanionis working some feints. I like that Stanionis is using feints. Boots a little quick combination, a little shoe shine. Oh, a good cross by Boots that got through Stanionis' guard. That's the end of the round. Good round. I would edge the round to Boots. I would edge the round to Boots just because he's so much activity, so many jabs. I think Stanionis probably landed the best punch of the round, which is his left hook. But Boots did land a few other shots as well. So I would edge that round to Boots, but competitive. And Boots is standing in the corner. That's interesting. Standing in the corner. Okay. I think that's to send a message to Stanionis, because a lot of times when you stand, it's because stand in sparring, you'll stand in the corner. But oh yeah, they're showing a replay of a right hook that Boots had landed on Stanionis' body, and then a replay of the hook that left hook landed. Stanionis landed on Boots as he was turning the corner. We're back in the center of the ring here. Boots is working the jab, still working the jab, working combinations here. Stanionis hasn't thrown anything so far in the first 20-ish seconds of the round. Okay, there's a jab by Stanionis, didn't land. Boots using his hand speed to throw some flurries out. Stanionis with a couple of jabs. Boots throws a hook and turns. Oh, good hook by Boots, and Stanionis tries to return fire. And now they're clinching the inside. Referee breaks them up. Stanionis avoids some of those jabs and then jabs back at Boots. Across the body by Boots. Boots working upstairs and downstairs. Stanionis, a little smile. Stanionis lands a jab. Okay. Boots doing a nice job here holding the center of the ring. Stanionis trying to move forward. Boots light on his feet. Boots starting to look a little comfortable now with a little bolo. Boots working that jab. A little cross downstairs. Boots is throwing a lot of punches here. And Stanionis leaps with a hook, and Boots, I think, just looks it off. Barely makes it miss, but makes it miss. Boots is doing a nice job here in a bit of a flow and throwing combinations pretty smoothly. Stanionis trying to come forward. Boots is firing off combinations and forcing him to kind of stay at bay. Good jab to the chest by Stanionis. Stanionis coming forward. Boots using his movement. Good counter uppercut there by Boots. Stanionis, now they're clinching against the ropes. Referee's breaking him up. Good jab by Stanionis. Both kind of trading jabs. So far, the fight's taking place more on Boots' terms. Boots is doing a good job of using his hand speed, working combinations up and down, working the jab, making sure, using the jab to keep Stanionis' hands more at bay, more at home. Stanionis is coming forward and he's throwing, and he's trying to break through, but I think round 2 was clearly Boots' round. I think less competitive than round 1. Really saw some nice combinations there by Boots, and what I really like the fact that he's using his jab a lot, and he's working downstairs. He's throwing a cross down to the body. He's using a nice counter uppercut as well. He's using good lateral movement by moving to both sides. Okay, they just showed a replay of that hook that's that leaping hook that Stanionis threw that I said that Boots had looked off, and it did partially land. Stanionis did partially land that hook, and then they just showed a replay of a nice Boots little counter uppercut. Didn't land totally flush, but it did land. So how will Stanionis adapt here? How is he going to adjust? Particularly, he's got to figure out a way to counter Boots' jabs. He's got to figure out a way to do that. He landed a nice jab himself there, Stanionis did. And he's trying to throw a leaping jab there. Boots is throwing, landing some shots, and moving around. He's doing a nice job. And Boots, southpaw, kind of switching stances, getting loose. Ooh, good little Boots, a little bolo and an uppercut. Boots starting to look comfortable. Starting to, he's moving around, looking, make himself feel comfortable. He's getting his distance down. Stanionis has to do something to change the energy. And good right hand there by Stanionis as he got Boots against the ropes, and Boots is kind of holding his lead hand out. Stanionis is able to go over and land a shot. Stanionis a nice little right. Oh, okay. No, that was a slip. Stanionis threw a shot, kind of caught the back of Boots' head and pulled him down a little bit. They're back up now. Good counter jab there by Stanionis. There we go. Stanionis throwing some feints now. That's something he was doing early on, and he hasn't gone back to. So that'd be good, I think, throwing more of those feints. Oh, good combination by Boots. Boots doing a nice... Okay, that overhand was blocked by Stanionis. Okay, they're on the inside tussling right now. Ref's going to break him up soon. Yeah, there we go. The ref's breaking him up. Oh, good jab there by Stanionis. Kind of popped Boots' head back a little bit. Nice little cross there by Stanionis, but Boots throwing shots, throwing a couple uppercuts in there. Boots an uppercut to the body. Okay, now they're fighting. They're exchanging. Stanionis landed a nice cross, but Boots landed a shot in return. Looks like Stanionis got a little shaken up. And now Boots is pushed him against the ropes, and now they're clinching, and ref is about to break him up. It looked like they each landed a shot on each other. And it looked like Stanionis got rattled for a second. But now Stanionis coming forward, throwing some jabs. Boots looking comfortable, kind of like, though his low guard here with his hands by his waist. Round is over. Boots sticks his tongue out at the end of the round. Yeah, I think I edged that round to Boots as well. The thing is that Boots, he's standing again in the corner. Interesting. He's not sitting down, which I think is a bit of a psychological message that he's sending, because Canelo did that same thing when he fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Is that Canelo stood in the corner the entire 12 rounds. Like when he went to the corner, Canelo stood there. He didn't sit down on the stool. He stood the entire time, which is what you do in sparring. So he's sending a message that this is a fucking sparring session to me. Other times fighters will do that if they got knocked down, if they got hurt, and you stand in the corner because you kind of want to get your legs back. You might bounce a little bit. You want to get your legs back. Ooh, show replay of a nice hook that Stanionis landed, and then a hook that Boots landed immediately after. That was that moment I pointed out where Stanionis landed a shot and Boots landed a shot, and it looked like Stanionis was more bothered. All right, Stanionis is coming forward. He's got to figure out something. Oh, good little uppercut to the body by Boots. That uppercut's been a nice weapon for Boots. Yeah, so Chris Mannix has it 3-0 for Boots as well, which is as I have it. Oh, a couple good shots on the inside. They both traded shots there. Boots is throwing to the body, man. He's using that uppercut down to the body, which is a smart weapon because Stanionis has this high guard, and the thing is, and he's high guard, plus he has a short reach, 68-inch reach with that high guard, and so that uppercut under those elbows, under the guard, it's an open weapon. It's an open target, and Boots is working it. And he's throwing not only to the body the uppercut, but he's sometimes throwing it upstairs. And it's tough to tell because the angle is the same, really. When you're throwing that uppercut, the angle looks the same, whether it's going to the head or going to the body. So it's deceptive, and it's smart. Oof, big leaping hook by Stanionis, but Boots is able to pull back. Ooh, good hard cross by Stanionis as he's coming forward. Good swivel jab by Stanionis on Boots. And Stanionis switches southpaw for a second. I think it was just a shift. but I threw a shot when he did that. And now Boots is back to orthodox, throwing some jabs. Stanionis with a good jab to the body. Another jab. That was my laptop with a fucking reminder. Okay. Boots kind of showing a bit of a half guard, little bit of a Philly shell guard, but he's not really using the Philly shell, which is good. Boots switching stances again. Oh, Boots had a low guard there. I kind of was waiting, and Stanionis threw a shot. Boots just slipped and counter uppercut and landed. Oh my God, that was pretty. Boots moving back and forth, his lateral movement. Boots looks really comfortable, and he's dancing in the corner a little bit with his hands down and avoiding shots. Oh boy, good counter uppercut. Boots is he's flashy, he's fun, and he's playing a little bit, but like he's not playing, but he's playing a little bit in a good way. I mean, there's a fine line between playing and being a dick and playing and being reckless. I think he's walking the line pretty well so far. You walk that line well until you get caught with something, but so far he's done it well, and he's made himself look really good, and that can work out pretty well when you do that, because just the body language of that looks good to judges, looks good to the audience. And also, it's frustrating to your opponent. I mean, an example of that is to a certain extent what Sugar Ray Leonard did against Roberto Duran, when he was, just kind of sticking his tongue out and throwing and shuffling and dancing and hitting him with shots, and other factors are there as well. Roberto Duran was not in shape for that shot. Sugar Ray, really snapped back a rematch before Roberto Duran was ready. Anyway, other stuff. But the point remains, I think, overall. All right, we're back here in... What round is this? Round 5? Yeah, round 5. So far, Boots is in control. That's what I'm seeing. Stanionis is landing some shots here and there, but Boots is in control. That's what I'm seeing at the moment. Stanionis is coming forward, but Boots is landing shots. And this is the difference right now that I'm seeing between Boots and Raymond Ford, right? Because we saw Matisse coming forward and Raymond Ford kind of back, moving backwards and whatnot, but Boots is showing so much more dynamic movement and dynamic combinations, and he's changing the tempo on some of his shots. He's throwing some slower shots, and then bang, comes with the quick, boom, and like switching the tempo on your punches, and that makes it harder to time you, and it makes you less predictable, and it's just like that's what I was looking for with Raymond Ford before, when Matisse kept coming forward and he was, kind of exploding forward at different points. Good shot by Stanionis, by the way, but Boots has landed a few different shots as well. And now Boots good hard jab by Stanionis, but Boots just comes forward and throws some more shots and landed a good cross on Stanionis. Boots now switching southpaw again. So far, we're in only round 5, but so far it's been a real a showcase for Boots. That's what it's been so far. My appreciate you. Thank you very much. Oh my God. We're seeing some good jabs back and forth here. Okay, now they're loosening up. Both these guys are now firing. Boots is now coming forward with a nice combination, integrating uppercuts and crosses. And now Stanionis is backed up to the rope. Stanionis' nose is bleeding. Stanionis throws back at Boots, but Boots doesn't care. He keeps coming forward. He's throwing hooks and uppercuts. Stanionis takes a deep breath, and he's got his guard, and now Stanionis is firing back, coming forward, blood on his face. Stanionis keeps moving forward, and now Boots is backing up a bit here. Oh my God! Stanionis throws a leaping hook, and Boots just pulls back and does the turn. Look, turns his chin, and the hook goes right by. Just beautiful, beautiful. This is, man. This is woof. Yeah. Look, that's another round for Boots in my book. But Stanionis is, he's showing his heart. He's showing his guts. But that's what you say about a guy when he's losing. That's what you say about a guy when he's losing is that, man, what heart on that guy. He's showing real guts and heart. And it's true. But you don't say that about the guy who's winning. So, I mean, and you see Stanionis' nose is bloodied up a bit here. He's sitting, he's, breathing, kind of heavy in the corner. Let's see if Boots is still standing in the corner. I mean, ooh, good. There's a replay of a nice cross that Stanionis landed on Boots, and Boots took it very well. And they're showing a nice replay of Boots throwing his uppercuts and crosses. Stanionis kind of gives him a little, all right, come on. Okay. Back to it. Stanionis with a little feint here. All right, a little slower start to this round. Oh, Boots with a one and then a hook. But it doesn't land. Oh, good jab by Stanionis. And Boots kind of looked to the side. Stanionis landed a jab on him as he did that. Boots better be careful. Ooh, good little counter by Boots as Stanionis came in. Oof, good counter up. That uppercut, man. That uppercut is... that's a weapon for Boots. So Boots landed 19 of 68 punches in the last round. Oh, good lead hook. Boots is looking real comfortable, kind of moving his hands around as he's coming forward. That's another thing, though, is that... Oh, good. I talked earlier about changing the tempo on your punches, and that's something that I feel like is maybe a little bit to the detriment of Stanionis, is that I feel like it seems like he throws his punches at kind of the same intensity, and it makes it easier to time you if you're throwing your punches at the same intensity. Boots is not... Oh, good jab by Stanionis. Stanionis again tries a leaping hook. Now Stanionis goes southpaw, now back to orthodox. Stanionis is looking for some answers here. Boots has not been quite as active this round. Good jab. But Boots is doing exactly what I was wondering if he was going to do. I was wondering, is Boots going to make use of his jab more than he did in recent fights? And he absolutely is. And a good body shot by Boots. Now Boots is targeting the body with hooks. And now it's going from the head to the body. Boots is now uppercuts, and Stanionis is down. Ooh. Boots just started mauling him and then just fired uppercut to the head. And Stanionis went down, took a knee. Man. Oh, my God. Okay. Stanionis looks like he's all right coming forward, but he's better be careful. All right, 10 seconds left. Boots is now real comfortable. Moving around. Oh, my God. Okay. They're exchanging there in the middle of the ring. Stanionis kind of slipped. And now that's the end of the round. Boots and Stanionis staring at each other as Boots is walking back. And Boots is they were staring at each other as Boots walked to his corner and then turned his gaze back to the corner. We see, looks like it's Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson's there at the fight. Watching with his, I think he's got his daughter there and his girl. Stanionis' face is looking a bit busted up here. His trainer's giving him is talking in his ear, but like holding him close. I wonder if they're gonna stop the fight. I wonder. I mean, I don't think they're going to stop it yet, but I feel like it's another round like that, and they might think about it. The corner stops it. They did stop it. Wow. Eddie Hearn lifts up Boots Ennis, and Boots, that is a tour de force. That is a statement victory by Boots. That was a beatdown by Boots. And this welterweight division, he has now made his mark. He has now staked his claim in this welterweight division post Bud Crawford. Wow. And now they're embracing in the center of the ring. That's really nice to see that sportsmanship. You'd love to see it, but wow. That was super impressive. It just, Boots is just so much more dynamic. He was just so much more dynamic, and he used his jab brilliantly, his uppercuts brilliantly, the tempo in his shots, the combinations, the creativity. Those of us who said Boots stoppage, that's what we saw, but I got to tell you, it was more dominant than I expected it to be. It was even more dominant than I thought it was going to be. That was an absolute statement victory. And this Boots has now made his mark, his claim. This is his division. Welterweight division is Boots Ennis's division. Wow. And Boots is standing in the corner the entire night. He didn't even sit down. It is. I mean, again, that was more dominant. I mean, Stanionis did land some shots on Boots, but not as much as I thought he was going to. Boots' defense and really his offense was his best defense in this fight. I mean, he did show some good, I think, improved. I think he tightened up the screws a bit on his defense, but his offense was just just really excellent, really excellent, man. Wow. I mean, so what's next for Ennis in the division? So, I mean, Barrios, I think Boots pieces Barrios up. Pieces him up. Brian Norman Jr., I couldn't even remember the name. No offense to Brian Norman, I got to watch some more of his fights. But, man, I have a hard time believing that there's anyone at 147 that can deal with this guy. And look, he's big for the division, but if he's able to stay at the division for a few more fights, he can become undisputed. He can be undisputed welterweight champ. I'd like to see that. Wow. Ladies and gents, we got a problem. We got a problem in Boots Ennis. Man, that was some performance, some show-stopping performance right there. Lock dog, fuck. Boots needs to move up. Virgil next. Hey, yeah, look, I would love to see Boots versus Virgil. Oh, paid for the lock dog. Come on, man. What's your beef with Boots? Well, what's your beef? Did he? I don't know. He went to school with him. Did he get with your girl? What the hell happened with Boots? My Boots didn't move up and fight Virgil now. I would love to see that Boots and Virgil. That would be. Ooh, that's a fight. That's a fun fight because Virgil does have some movement on that fastball of his, but Boots showed, man, that he's got the goods. Let's see. Boots talking to Chris Mannix right now. Wow. Hmm. Wow. Okay. So Boots is saying, what was the secret to, putting on a performance like this? He was saying that for me, it was, having fun, being myself. He says, well, I had a live body in front of me. That's what Boots said. I had a live body in front of me. When I have a live body in front of me, you see what I could do. He's saying, what he means is that when I have somebody, an opponent, a competitor who is, a real threat, somebody who is, really a high quality opponent, someone who's a threat to me, that's what gets me up. That's what gets me excited. That's what brings out the best in me. I mean, hard to argue with the results here because Stanionis, I mean, this is, I think, this is clearly Boots' best win. Clearly. This was a demolition job. So I think clearly Boots' best win. I think there's credence to what he's saying in that he's saying that a live body is what I need in front of me. I need a real threat to bring out the best in me, and what we saw was was some dangerous shit right there. Getting in my bag, getting my groove loose. Yeah, I mean he was getting loose. He was shimmying around. He was kind of switching southpaw and orthodox. He looked great. He looked fucking great in there. So all right, all right. Chris Mannix asked Boots the question that I think a lot of us were wondering, which is, oh, that's nice. He gave love to the Lithuanian. He was giving love to people who showed up to come to the fight. He said even Lithuanian people, thank you. So that was a nice, classy gesture. Um, okay, now he's talking to Eddie Hearn. Mm. Wow. Eddie Hearn was saying, he's going to be around for a long time to come, not just 47, 54, 60. It made you think of, it made me think of, the Heat, LeBron James, not one, not two, not three, not, so, um, but, Chris Mannix, asked Boots, the fucking, all right, yeah, look, Maya and Lockdog, you guys, Lockdog, I don't know what your problem is with Boots. He put on a hell of a performance. Um, who do you like? How about that, Lockdog? Who do you like in the division, or who do you like in the sport? But I will also note that Chris Mannix asked a very important question. to Boots, he asked, are you planning on staying in the division? Do you plan on moving up? Is becoming undisputed important to you? And Boots totally sidestepped the question. Said basically, gave you the boilerplate of, well, I'm going to enjoy the victory, talk to my team, my family, and, didn't give an answer on that. So we don't really know if Boots is planning on staying in the division or moving up. Look, there's part of me that wants to see him clean up the division, because I think he can. But that's the thing, is that I think he can clean up the division. I don't have really any doubt that he pieces up Mario Barrios and, with all respect, Brian Norman Jr. So in that sense, it's like, well, then why not just move up and and take on some more challenging prospects. Fundora is an option. That's Ennis eats Fundora alive. I think that's right. Part of the problem is that Fundora's 6'6" with an 80-inch reach, but I think that Boots is just pretty too dynamic for him. And how does Fundora deal with another southpaw like Boots, who also, by the way, Boots will go and box orthodox as well. I just don't know if I like Fundora, but I don't think he has the tools to deal with this guy. His mitt work is a joke. All right, Locke. I don't care about somebody's mitt work. I care about what they do in the ring. All right, well, ladies and gents, that was a tour de force, quite a performance. Really special. Thank you all for hopping on. Appreciate you joining. I'm planning on doing a all right, we'll see if he moves up. Yeah. I'm going to plan on working on a post-fight analysis of this bout, because I think there's definitely some things to say about what we just saw and what's next for Boots. So I got work tomorrow, but I'll work on this. And thank you all again for stopping by. Appreciate it. See you later.